Explosive breaking news in the case against Casey Anthony. Disturbing allegations against the man who found Kaylee's remains. Does meter reader Roy Kronk have his own history with young girls? I'm Mike Garofalo.
And I'm Jacqueline London. Let's get straight to investigative reporter Tony Pipitone. Tony, what do you know about this?
Well, the defense is now for the first time clearly laying out part of their defense case. And they are trying to say in this motion filed just an hour ago that a third party is guilty of Kaylee Anthony's murder. And who would that third party be? How about meter reader Roy Kronk? Defense investigators interviewed Kronk's son, 2 ex-wives, and the daughter of a girlfriend and tried to put together a circumstantial case that Roy Kronk is guilty. Of course, the state attorney's office only has a circumstantial case against Casey Anthony, and a circumstantial case to prevail in that the state must rule out all reasonable alternative hypotheses according to the law. Well, today's defense motion tries to make the case that Kronk is at least as equally as likely to be responsible for the death of Kaylee Anthony as is Casey Anthony. And to do that, they lay out several points, including they claim to have evidence of Kronk's possible history of inappropriate behavior with young girls, specifically a former girlfriend's daughter who says Kronk would walk in on her after showering and when she was putting on her clothes and make comments about videotaping her having sex with animals. The defense also says to have evidence indicating Kronk has a history of abusing, restraining, and holding women against their will, including an ex-wife who says he kidnapped and held her for 2 weeks and that he used duct tape on him and had it on him when he was arrested. So next, the defense says Kronk has in the past used duct tape for the purposes of restraining the ex-wife and has bragged about the use of so-called 100-mile-an-hour tape for that purpose. Of course, it was very unusual duct tape that was used to be placed around Kaylee Anthony's skull when it was found last December by Roy Kronk. Finally, they claim Kronk knew of the location of Kaylee Anthony's remains and indeed may have had possession or control of them in November 2008, weeks before he alerted law enforcement to that on December 11th, 2008. Now, that information is based on his son, who says he recalls that Kronk called him in November, a week before Thanksgiving, right about a year ago, and told him that he had found these remains and that he was going to be on TV. Whether the son is mistaken about that timeline, whether it was a week or two before Christmas instead, which would match the timeline as the state has it, hard to say. But that's the point of this motion. The defense is now trying to lay out a case. They want to interview these people in depositions, sworn depositions, present this evidence, and hopefully they believe the judge will let them point to Roy Kronk as the killer of Kaylee Anthony. Of course, one big problem with that is that there's no evidence we know of that Roy Kronk knew Casey Anthony, had any contact with Casey Anthony or Kaylee Anthony prior to all of that. Now, this motion was being filed today. While this motion was being filed today, Kronk was here at the state attorney's office being questioned. Mike DeForest was covering that part of that, and you talked to Kronk and his attorney when they came out.
That's right. Roy Kronk was being interviewed by Jose Baez and the defense team for about 8 hours today. Now, he hasn't spoken publicly for nearly a year, and yet he was extremely easygoing, had a smile on his face when he came out those doors over there, Tony, and just really seemed to actually have a pleasant time during this deposition. It didn't seem like he had any idea the defense was about to throw him under the bus.
Mr. Baez was very polite to me all day. He was very nice to me, and it was a very nice mood in there, so that wasn't a bad day at all.
Roy Kronk may not have had a bad day, but he's probably having a bad night right now. As he was leaving his deposition, Casey Anthony's attorneys were upstairs filing new court papers attacking his character, and Kronk apparently never saw it coming.
I mean, it was very professional, and there was no accusations or any of that type of stuff. It was very nicely done.
As Casey Anthony's attorneys, Jose Baez and Andrea Lyon, arrived for depositions, they were followed in by Mort Smith, a Chicago-based private investigator who, like Lyon, teaches at DePaul University. For the past several months, Local 6 has learned that Smith has been digging into Roy Kronk's personal life, trying to uncover information that might discredit the former meter reader.
We're not playing around, and we're going to get to the bottom of things, and that's really all I can say at this moment.
I haven't done anything wrong, so I don't have a reason to be fearful or troubled by any of this.
Kronk first reported finding something suspicious in the woods on August 11th. After calling authorities 3 times, a deputy was dispatched to check out the tip, but failed to find anything in the woods. The sheriff eventually fired Deputy Richard Kane for lying about his encounter with Kronk. 4 months later, the meter reader returned to those woods, claiming he wanted to see the object he had previously mistaken for a child's skull. skull. That's when he discovered it was a skull.
It's very odd, and we asked everything about that today.
What's odd about it? What's odd about
it? Well, I think it's pretty obvious what's odd about it.
Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to get Roy Kronk's response to this because, again, this has all just happened within the last hour. He was gone by the time we realized that the paperwork had even been filed. Now, as for this deposition, Jose Baez did not finish questioning him today, and they are going to be resuming this, Tony, they say after the holidays. So you can imagine his mood may change once he gets face-to-face with Jose Baez and the defense team. One thing I keep thinking about, though, is what kind of motive would Roy Kronk have? I mean, I haven't seen any allegations of that from the defense so far.
Well, in the memorandum of law attached to this motion, they say that there was a money-making motive here, that he could be the hero who found the body, get the rewards, go on national TV, license the picture of the snake, which he did for several $1,000s. They say perhaps that's what he was after.
It will always continue to twist and turn and amaze us all.
Every part of this case.
Thank you both. Local 6 broke this story about the allegations against Roy Kronk, and you can count on us for complete coverage tonight at 11.
And then be sure to watch for an exclusive interview with a member of Casey Anthony's defense team.
Tomorrow on The Early Show, new information that could change the murder case of Kaylee Anthony. We'll talk with a member of Casey's defense team Friday on The Early Show on Local 6.
And catch that interview exclusively on The Early Show tomorrow morning. It all starts at 7 right after the morning news, and we will continue to follow these new developments on our website, clickorlando.com.